live on Instagram and YouTube. Had some technical difficulties there. So basically we're going to talk bracket and string of a stick here. So we've got the Chris Kavanaugh replica. All right, we're back and got it working. Live on Instagram and YouTube. Got the bracket here. Selection Sunday was last night, so I want to hear if you guys have any bracket takes. In the meantime, I'm going to string up replica, my first try at Chris Kavanaugh's pocket. Ohio State should be 2. I think it's tough that Maryland is above them. It looks bad because Ohio State literally just beat Maryland in the Big Ten championship. And then Ohio State draws a tough game in Notre Dame in the first round, so it's pretty brutal. OSU wins it all would be really interesting. I mean, they've been to the championship in relatively recent memory. Andrew's birthday, happy birthday, Andrew. Army snubbed, which is crazy. So that's the biggest thing people want to talk about is that Army got snubbed out of the tournament. Unfortunately for them, in the Patriot League and with their strength of schedule in general, they just don't have a strong enough schedule to flop out of the Patriot League tournament that quickly. They didn't even make it to the championship. They lost to an unranked Colgate team. That stuff just has a big impact at the end of the season, unfortunately. I'm not sure we'll do a D2 reaction or not. Just got that question on YouTube. So yeah, I think Army was a great story. It's hard to see them ranked so highly, but they really fell off in the Patriot League tournament. That was really their tournament to win. They should have picked up that automatic qualifier and they would have had a really good stretch into the tournament. Don't hate on OSU. Big Tasty. Big Tasty is pretty awesome. I'm a big fan of Big Tasty. He played really well in the Big Ten tournament. True, it's past your bedtime. The Selection Sunday show was late, 9:30 last night. Streaming vid soon. Watching a streaming vid right now. So this is Chris Kavanaugh's pocket, I hope. When's the next head dropping? July 4th. Should you buy the STX 1K or the DNA 2 for two-way MIDI? I mean, obviously I'm going to say the DNA 2, I would think. All right, so let's look at the bracket. Once we finish the top string here, we'll talk about a couple things people seem pretty hot on. I got that on his. I don't know what that means. Is your full name Gregory? My full name is Gregory. Yes. Playing this weekend for true 18s? I don't think so. Where are we taking the RV this weekend? Unfortunately, nowhere till PLL week 1. All right, so first up, we're stringing. I'm gonna do my best to do a Chris Kavanaugh replica. This is a Mirage 2. He uses a Tactic 2, I believe, so this should be pretty close in string holes and generally shaped, but I think it'll work for the tutorial. Secondly, we're talking bracket. Got it printed out right here. Might be mirrored depending on how you guys are seeing this. Cornell number 1, I think that's a pretty obvious choice. And then they get a pretty easy draw playing Albany and Siena. I think Richmond, North Carolina is going to be a really interesting matchup. Richmond with the possibility of upset after winning the A10 there. Penn State, Colgate, I think Penn State will roll there. Ohio State, Notre Dame is going to be a really interesting one. So Connor in the office brought this up, that they take into account proximity. Since Ohio State and Notre Dame are close to each other, those teams got lumped together. Pretty tough for Ohio State to come out of winning the Big Ten championship to draw such a good team. Like Notre Dame like that, even though they've had an okay season and were unable to make it to the ACC championship game. All right, so I got a picture of Chris Kavanaugh's pocket up here. Let me know if you guys have any anything you want to talk about in the comments here, bracket-wise. But we got playing games on Wednesday. So that'll be Air Force RMU and Albany Siena. Where can I buy sidewalls in bulk? Yeah, we don't really have that option. You could try Jim Lax's website, they might have that. Okay, start off the pocket. He's got not a crazy pocket. It's pretty nice though. It's really bunched up at the bottom, I think. Rate people's lacrosse gear. Could do that maybe. Looks like Chris is mostly using SIs. I think he actually has a string page on Instagram. Not sure though. Put this a little bit closer so you guys can see the string in here. What's taking my string? Mirage 2 Chris Ckav replica is my goal. So I've got the picture up right here. Zoom in a little bit. Can't tell if that's a stacked SI or not. I don't think it is. Looks pretty channeled, kind of lower. And then he ends the pattern really early. It looks like. I had a better picture. Probably when I make the tutorial, I'll probably try and find my better picture. Greg, is it past your bedtime? I don't know. So I was trying to figure out the pattern here. New helmet, when you see the helmets coming out, I don't think that they are. I don't think that's the thing that's gonna happen anytime soon. Alright, I think I've got half the pattern done here. Not totally sure. I had a better picture. I can't seem to find it. Remember when you only used to show your boat shoes on videos? Yeah, I remember filming the backyard. So I think he ends it really early and uses one less diamond, but I gotta go take a look. Crab glove's gonna come out. I don't know if the crab gloves are ever gonna come out. Josh Byrne tutorial. I don't know if we're gonna be doing a Josh Byrne tutorial, unfortunately. Kind of bowed out of the PLL this season for personal reasons, which I totally get. Gonna miss working with him this summer for sure. What's my favorite NLL team? I like the Vegas team because we got a couple guys on the team using our stuff there, Jonathan Peshko. But I got to get back into the NLL a little bit. I haven't followed it as closely as I probably should this season. Chris's pocket is looking pretty low and channeled the way I have it right now. You know, I'll try and make a tutorial and the pattern might change a little bit from what I'm doing now if I can find a better set of pictures. Do a little bit of a better job. Sign me at ECD, maybe. The Ottawa Black Bears. I think Gregorian Court is going to upset the Delphi. D2 bracket, I'm rooting for Limestone. Just because it's going to be their last season. They're shutting the school down. Another one bites the dust. I really like the MIAA playoffs. It's a tight race this year, and again, that's what I played in when I was in high school. So MIAA playoffs are fun. WCAC a little less. The IAC should be good this year too. Lines up well with the MIAA playoffs kind of end right when the NCAA playoffs start heating up. Bring this in a little bit. Yeah, I don't think this feels quite right. We're gonna have to go back to the drawing board on this, but we'll put the bottom string in. Yeah, Tampa will be good in D2 as well, but again, gotta root for Limestone their last year. Alright, so I think he ends his pattern really early and then skips a couple rows at the bottom and comes in with the bottom string is what it looks like. And a pretty long bottom string. Maybe one more row down. ECD and the Simpsons gonna collab again. I don't think there'll be another Simpsons collab soon, but that was through Lacrosse Unlimited, so we'd have to ask them. Alright, here's where we're at. I think it's okay. I don't think it's perfect. It needs a little work, so we'll go back to the drawing board before we make the tutorial. Looks alright. If anybody has any detailed pictures, send to us on Instagram, or I think he has a string page if anybody can track that down. We'll look at it. But thanks for watching. We'll work on the tutorial as well.